It doesn't get much more out of the box from the 24 hours of Lemons race we covered. This is the ultimate endurance race for cars $500 or less. The addition of judges who hand out penalties that are meant to humiliate just adds to the unique race.
Minimum of 4, maximum of 6 drivers for this 24-hour event. As the Land Shark makes his way around a couple of cars there on one of the very few straightaways here in Joliet, Illinois. Look at the track, and you can just see that rain pouring down, Ken.
As you can also see the windows out of these cars, so some of the drivers getting fairly wet. More importantly, if they don't have a defroster, they won't be able to see where they're going.
And there was clearly about every variety of automobile you can think of, from a Neon to a Pontiac to a Romeo GT V. There's a whole bunch of different Tauruses, Camaros, Geo Metros, Hondas. You can't even stop on this list. There is a bundle of $500 cars here.
Some with back doors, some without. Hey, how about that? You know?
Hey, Richard Petty in the house.
Looks like not working. It makes it all but impossible to see.
Even
right
got
behind
the
that
Highway
Super
Patrol.
all shot up, by the way. I'll tell you something else this series is really good at, and that's handing out penalties. And it's not just your average penalty. They get pretty creative.
Yeah, I mean, there can be a multitude of reasons they'll send you to the penalty box. And I got to tell you, in the course of a penalty flag comes out now. Black flag. Let's dip in and see what's up.
Through the building, park it out of the way, come back with your whole team.
Very good.
Yeah. Yep. Okay.
All right, as you can see, they were penalized for driving on 2 wheels, and the penalty to be served is Macho Man. And that, of course, means they had to walk through the pits, the entire team, singing Macho Man. Josh Russell is the team leader from Ray Besses. Brian Bolander on the team, and yep, there's a look at it. They might have a future, you know? I mean, maybe they just start singing a little bit.
I love a good wheel stand, and we saw a number of outstanding wheel stands from this year's event. With $20,000 on the line, everyone pushed even harder to wow the crowd.
Do you know the value of that car as a Grand Sport convertible before any of this happened? Oh, man. Yellow Grand Sport garage.
And no hands. Now look, all no hands.
Hey, watch this.
Is that worth some points?
That's points. Watch it again from the back of the car. I tell you what, kid, it was really, really nice off the starting line. Now once you get from in car, there's the hands in the air. Hey, baby, how are you? Unfortunately, not quite long enough. Maybe somewhere make its way into the winner's bracket. Here's multi-time competitor Wendell Poole.
Oh, man, lights up the rear tires, blows up the motor, front end wobbling around. That one just cost him about 20 grand.
Wow. Wendell's been doing it a long time. At first, it looked like the right rear tire was just smoking. I mean, he's completely blown it off. Then if you look at the bottom, oh, yeah.
Oh, it grenaded the transmission.
Transmission, yeah, it's ready for it there. Wow, that might be some downtime. All right. Well, you can see we've got the roof camera on the kid, Jason Schubert. And this car is as clean underneath, inside the motor compartment, in the cockpit as it is outside.
This time Joe's the left lane and gives him the whole right lane to work with because he knew he was going to need it. It immediately turns right. Nice wheel stand again. Second time up in the air. Number 3 stands on the throttle and holds on.
Oh, man, did you see that where he just kept that thing level for a while? It's great. Up in the air, hits the bumper. Hits again. Now, right through there is where that thing just stands level. The front end about 1.5 feet off the ground. Great job for him.
All right, here comes Ambrosini again. Hold on. This one can get wild. Second final round.
Ambrosini, multi-time champion here.
He's in trouble.
Whoa, man.
He pedaled that thing and started to come back down. He stabbed the throttle again and spun the right rear and launched that car to the left.
That is not something you see out of Brian Ambrosini. Watch it again. Hits the rear bumper, stays up, then the right rear. Now, when he came down, the right front wheel was turned just a little bit, And I don't think that's what caused that thing to actually turn over. If you look at the wheel, you can see the wheel dug in, bent, and I think that's what might have caused it to go over.
I mean, you know what? Whenever it was up in the air, that right rear tire gets some grip because the left rear right there is still in the air, and that launched the car to the left. Of course, the natural thing to do is counter steer to the right, and when it landed back, he did have some steering input in it, and it launched the car over. You can't blame him for that. It was just a wild ride.
Yeah, first thing you got to do is hope he's okay, and he is. There he is.
By now you figured out that the trivia questions are one of our favorite features of Lucas Oil on the Edge. We asked all of our Facebook Lucas Oil on the Edge fans to vote for their favorite OTE drag racing crash of all time. What crash holds the top spot? Find out when we come back. The battle was on all season long for the drivers vying for the coveted ADRL championship belt. Only 8 drivers in each class were eligible to compete in this championship race. The rubber was flying when the fastest door slammers on the planet entered the lights.
This is not a David versus Goliath story. Nothing is. You got Jim Audi and all that team we talked about over there with the Bahrain 1 car. And then you got this Corvette. And you got Frankie and his wife and his brother Paul. And they got no real majors on this car, sponsorship-wise. And as far as big tuners, it's Frankie and Paul, and that's it, baby. And there's Paul, his brother, right there pulling him up.
Well, and we heard Frankie talk about it. Frankie's got to get up on this light right here. He's going to have a shot at Hernandez. Last time he was 090. That's too late to get the job done here.
Yeah, you got to be 050, 040 or better no matter what happens here. Converter car, clutch car, far side.
Still got feet off there a little bit, but he's going to drive back around him and get the win. A solid reaction time at 035. You were talking about it. Hernandez in 012. You could see the small difference at the starting line, but it was Taylor who drove back around him.
And $50,000 richer than Taylor's biggest payday of their entire career happens right here on a Friday night in Ennis, Texas, baby. Watch it again in replay. The 57 Chevrolet Bahrain 1 car, the far side, if you're looking right side of your screen, will move around just a little bit right through there, head toward the wall. He'll get out of the throttle, and Frankie, they call him the madman. We like to call him Open Trailer. Taylor is your champion.
All right, time for the final round here. The 10-5, Extreme 10-5 category, I should say. Gary White and Dan Millen ready to do battle here.
And seriously, if there ever was a situation where two cars were totally different, this is it right now on the line. Again, a stretch wheelbase, 2011 Ford Mustang body, clothed over the top of a tube chassis, very lightweight, light as you can get them. Like I said, they moved the motor back in this car. They moved some weight around on it, taking on a Titan, a Titan Motorsports Scion with an inline 6-cylinder turbocharger taking down that big blown motor.
And Dan Millen has been on rails every single round, has gone a little faster as well. Now the speed up over 200 miles an hour at 201, but up on the tree right off the bat. A little bit behind Gary White, but had plenty of steam to drive back around him.
Listen to Millen's numbers. 384.8, 385.5, 384.0, 200.2, and 201.16. Dan Millen, your champion in the battle for the belts.